Alright, last round is here. We were 1 and 2, unfortunately, but I would love to play first. And our hand is full of white cards with no white mana, so that is pretty tough. We do have a temple to help us get there, but I don't think that this is a good keep. So we should probably mulligan. And this hand is also a little bit awkward. We have all our colors, but we can't cast Courser. Our main land to make green is a pain land, so that is tough. By main land, I mean only land, I guess. So we'll lead with plains here. We could draw like Running Forest to play this Courser, so I think that's better than playing Line of Waterways first. Probably doesn't make that big of a difference. And our opponent has a mountain, so we get to play against some mono reds. And probably get the crap beat out of us by the looks of things. So we have Windswept Heath for Forest. That's kind of step one. I guess I'm going to play Den Protector as a 2/1. Not very exciting, but it does happen from time to time. And if he only has creatures for whatever reason, we can block and trade with the Swift Spear. And then play a Courser, and then if our life total is high enough, maybe we can Abzan Charm, draw some cards, and get back into this game. But it does not look good, certainly. This is not the draw that we want against this deck. I think our first hand would have been much better had we known that he was playing mono red. But it just kind of is what it is, and we're here now, so we have to make the best of things. So if you had a Wild Slash, I'd probably just want to slash the Protector and attack. Like, either way, it's 2 damage, I guess. I'm probably just going to block if given the option. It does appear that he has Wild Slash because he was thinking. So I think our best bet is to just block. And we just trade, so beautiful. I'm definitely A-okay with that. Now what happens? Nothing. Literal, actual nothing. We draw a Fleece Mane Lion. So we can play the Lion, or we can play the Courser. I think at this point, with our opponent not having any land in any plays, just playing the Lion is better. We can attack for 3 next turn instead of attacking for 2. And it doesn't really cost us anything as far as mana. So Lion seems like the better play. And we'll see if our opponent has any plays. Kind of an awkward keep for him to play Swift Spear and then nothing, but... Oh, Satyr Hoplite. Okay, so this is the heroic version, not the Pro Tour winning deck. We have an ultimate price, which we're going to keep, but we're going to play this Temple, even though we're like losing value on the Scry, so that we can play 2 spells next turn. Resize this thing and move it over. And I'm not going to guarantee victory, but I think I'm going to guarantee victory. Our opponent does have a second land, though. So now I might be able to go off with this Hoplite, play a bunch of Hammer Hands or Dragon Mantles, who knows. I really don't like trading the Swift Spear for the Den Protector, then. If he has a bunch of spells. Eventually this Den Protector is going to be useless. And the Monastery Swift Spear is actually going to be pretty good, probably. So yeah, I don't like trading from their perspective. It certainly helps me, so I'm fine with it. But, you know, in case you're ever in that situation, you have to evaluate what your card is worth versus their card. And in this case, my 2/1, my Goblin Piker, is not that big of a deal. So Lion gets killed, which is good for our opponent. Otherwise, we could potentially monster sit next turn, and then he'd be in some trouble. We're not going to give up the chance to get a free land, so we're probably going to play both these spells this turn, and going to end up taking a point of damage because of it, but we get to play a land and gain a life, so I think it is well worth it to get the extra card. And we're going to attack because we have ultimate price for the Hoplite, and we're almost certainly going to use it. And maybe we can catch something like a Dragon Mantle or get him to commit something like a Hammer Hand or Titan Strength, even though he knows we have ultimate price. So maybe that won't happen. That probably won't happen, but we'll give our opponent the option. Or I guess we'll just kill this Crusader instead. Because that thing is a threat. Satyr Hoplite, not so much. We can kill that eventually. But going wide with the Crowing Crusader might be difficult to beat. So, is going for the Mantle on the Crusader. We're definitely going to ultimate price that. He's still going to get a token and attack me for 2. So, still has some little form of offense going on, but not that big of a deal. And in the interest of hitting F6 and making this turn go by quicker, we're just going to do this right now. With him having Hoplite, there's some consideration to actually keeping the charm, but I'd much rather just have the extra 2 cards, I think. And we have a Dramoka's Command on top, which is pretty nice. So we're down to 14, but we're going to go back up to 18 after this turn, probably. Den Protector on top, that's fantastic. And things are looking up. So we're going to play this Rhino, drain him, and then we're going to put a counter on our Courser to put it out of Stoke range. And also just going to fight this Hoplite before it can get out of control here. Den Protector is basically the perfect card to have in this situation. Because we get a 3-2 with a pretty reasonable ability, plus we get a removal spell back. So for 7 mana, it's basically like an FTK, a 1/8/7 creature that comes into play and kills one of our opponent's things. So definitely pretty nice for decks like mine. And I'm not seeing a way that my opponent can really come out of this. Our draw ended up developing quite nicely, thanks to their stumble, so. Unfortunately not playing for anything, but, you know. And again, we have 6 lands, we're going to 7, but don't really feel flooded. Still using all my mana every turn. And I'm not regretting playing 26 lands, so. I do like that. I do like having a bunch of mana sinks. So no attacks, and then we can Den Protector back a Dramoka's Command. Get a little extra value with our removal spell. Get that counter. And at this point, since our things are out of Stoke range, I should probably just put it on the Rhino because it has Trample. And that will force the concession. So now we get to try out our sideboard cards. These Drowning Sorrows. Bile Blight and the Sorin. And Elspeth is kind of a fine cut, but it is also a card that these decks can't really beat. Just a thing that comes down and makes 3 blockers, which is pretty nice. Abzan Charm can almost certainly go, and then Hero's Downfall is not mana efficient, and we're boarding in more removal. So I think this looks pretty good. Certainly like all of my cards. The other 2 downfalls are things that I wouldn't really mind being able to side out if I had something better, but Merciless Executioner is certainly not cutting it against Crone Crusader, and Thoughtseize is something that could be okay because it could take away like a key Titan Strength or Hammer Hand, plus it's really cheap. But I think the removal spell still might be better. Could be wrong about that. Maybe 2 Thoughtseize is actually the way to go. We'll see how this game plays out when we're on the draw. Obviously much worse for us, but I don't mind a challenge. Won't be any fun if it was easy. No one would play. So hopefully we just have a nice clean game. No screws on either side, but I don't know. Our opponent has a kind of high variance red deck where the amount of lands drawn matters a lot. The ratio of like creatures to spells matters a lot, and drawing certain things to trigger your heroic things matters a lot. So kind of high variance, but for the most part, it's like high variance to make your cards work well. But like, say my opponent draws like 3 or 4 Crone Crusaders, like maybe he just plays 3 1/1s and gives me the beatdowns. You know, you never know. Well, I paused the video while waiting for my opponent, and now he disconnected. So maybe we don't have a match to play, and that would be very unfortunate. But I'll pause again and hope that my opponent shows back up. Hey, we have an opponent and a terrible hand. But at least this time we have 2 castable spells to go with our no white mana. So now we're on the draw with the same Swiftspear Den Protector happenings going on here. So almost certainly in a much worse position than we were in last game. So that's too bad. Maybe this hand is not good enough to keep. Do have some pretty nice ones. I think we have to keep this temple, actually, as bad as it is. But yeah, the fact that we have 2 Urborg should probably factor into whether or not we keep, because it's functionally a dead card. And the more I think about it, this hand was probably just pretty bad. And we have a bunch of Bile Blights and Drown in Sorrows and Siege Rhinos and whatnot, and this hand has none of that. So our opponent going for the Gusto with a little Titan Strength action on the main phase. So looking to deal me a bunch of damage as quickly as possible, which is understandable. Gonna try and play out a Den Protector to block again, but we'll see how that goes. Probably not going to end in my favor, but again, doesn't have a second land, so guess we're casting this thing. And if that was my plan, maybe I should have scryed the temple to the bottom. But we're going to need white mana eventually, so I don't know. Because I feel like if this Den Protector thing doesn't work out, I'm kind of priced into downfalling the Swiftspear. And then there's another turn where I still don't get to play the temple. Hammerhand is pretty nice. Allows him to get in for 5 points this turn, so already down to 9. And then, yeah, I guess we're priced into keeping Downfall open here. And our opponent still has 3 cards. So this is not going to be easy. But even if we go to game 3 now, I think a little bit more disciplined, I'll be able to keep better hands. Because, yeah, this one is just not working out. We have a lot of dead cards right now. A little too slow. Oh, another useless card. And what you got for us? What is your best play? We're in the awkward position of, even if we draw... Well, I guess this is the turn where we need to draw something we can cast, right? Because for 3 mana, we need to play a spell and play this temple. And the next turn, we can brick on a spell to play the lion, and that might be okay. But when you're in spots like this, it's pretty bad, because I'm kind of screwed and I'm kind of flooded. But then again, that was all my own doing, so... Alright, getting an opportunity to block, and I will take it. And I will almost certainly downfall the Satyr Hoplite, basically no matter what happens, but there's always the chance our opponent goes for, you know, a Titan Strength over here. And then we get an extra card with it, but still almost certainly going to lose my Den Protector. Yeah, it does go for the Titan Strength. We're going to kill it right now to not allow our opponent to scry, but that does take away the chance for our opponent to be like, alright, screw it, I'm going to try and kill him this turn, you know, if they have another Titan Strength or something. But I don't think that's very likely to happen, so I feel like stopping them from scrying is probably better. Get out of here. Oop. And then some States deck lists have gone up, so now I'm looking at those while I wait for my opponent to do stuff. A lot of green-red in all flavors. Alright, we need a spell this turn. Come on, spell. Spell, spell, spell. No, not for my opponent. For me. I want a spell. Ultimate Price is a spell. That counts. Oh, Rhino? Hello. You might be the perfect card. Maybe we can claw our way back into things. I would be impressed if I were able to do that. Oh, there is a Crone Crusader, which could be trouble. Hammerhand or Dragon Mantle would be pretty good. You know, we do get to kill it, but they still get a 1/1 haster. And does go for the Dragon Mantle, so that's good. Get to put a stop to those shenanigans. We still end up taking 3 points. 4 points, actually, because they get a 1/1. So down to 5, going back up to 8 because of the Rhino. And then next turn we'll have a Lion to play if we draw a green or black spell that we could also play. That would be phenomenal. This game is pretty close still. I could totally see Rhino winning it. Harness by Force, I think, kills me. Yeah, Harness by Force would kill me. Can't play around it, though. So far, we've traded 3 cards for 6 of theirs, so we're up in the card advantage department. Unfortunately, those extra cards translate into extra lands for me, so not that big of a deal. Can't always rely on that count to see who's ahead or not. Well, here comes the squad. Blocking the Swift Spear seems like the best. Although, I don't know, Titan Strength on either one of those could allow him to trade with the Rhino if he wants. Might be better to just do it on the unblocked one. And if I'm trying to play around the 3rd Titan Strength, I should block the Hoplite, but I guess like Lightning Strike would kill the Rhino too. Lightning Strike would put me to 2 though also. So I think I'd rather just have him go after the Rhino. Yep. Cool. I'm definitely down with that. Need to play out Captain Meowmers over here. Fortunately, can't play out the other one. I think I have 15 white mana. I think that's enough, but felt a little short in that regard. Our opponent just plays out a bunch of 1/1s. So now we have a couple 3/3s against a bunch of 1/1s, and we'll see how that goes. Any Rhinos? Rhinos would be nice. Den Protector would be okay. Sandstep Citadel is a little late. That's alright. We're doing okay. Just need to fade some draw steps on our opponent's part. So far, our opponent is 11 spells and 2 land. So that's a pretty good ratio for them. We have 8 land. That's a lot. Ooh, Hammerhand. That's good. Hammerhand is going to shut down one of these lines from blocking. Basically have to block and trade here. And then I take 3 down to 3. And then basically any burn spell kills me. No, actually any burn spell kills me. So good draw on the Hammerhand. And now it's getting to the point where our opponent only has 4 minutes, so they're probably going to time out even if we do have a game 3, which kind of stinks. We're playing some nice Magic, but they got disconnected. Ooh, but we have a Courser of Crewfix, so maybe we'll just win this game. Okay, okay. So now we have to fade a Strike or a Stoke for 1 turn. And I guess we'll just monstrify this thing right now. That's not what I wanted. I want green mana. One turn window. That's all you got. Strike or Stoke. Or Titan Strength. I think that's it. Dragon Mantle's a start. Dragon Mantle into Hammerhand. That does it. We didn't really do anything too special this game. Just had a couple removal spells. But it gives me hope for Game 3 if there is a Game 3 and if we have enough time. So many green-red aggro decks. Oh, here they come. Titan Strength. Or just suicide attacking to try and get me to 2 life. Well, I guess Wild Slash could also kill me now. Dragon Mantle gives the sickest redraws. Oh, another Rhino on top, so... should we live, we are certainly in good shape. We're at 5 life. That's excellent. So now I have the option of attacking, but I don't think I have to actually try and close the game out here. I'm not sure if anything could actually happen next turn to get me if I attack, but I don't think it really matters because Siege Rhino should put me at such a high life total that I can basically play around everything. So, for example, say I attacked with Lion and I got harnessed by Force. I could chump and take 2. So that wouldn't kill me. So yeah, I don't know what would actually kill me if I attacked with just Lion. Oh, there's the Lightning Strike. It's a little too late. And the 3rd Siege Rhino should probably do it. Break even on the Windswept Teeth to get rid of this cave, see what we're drawing. It's a Bile Blight, which is certainly a reasonable magic card. Now I think we can safely attack here. Put our opponent on a 2-turn clock. Try and get them to 0 as they go down to 0 time as well. Just killing them on all fronts. Suddenly our board looks pretty good. Imagine that. Alright, so finished up 2-2. Not the best record, for sure. I won an 8-man earlier, and the deck looked pretty good there. Slightly less good in these matches. But we fell behind against Abzan Aggro and against Wesco's Bant deck. So maybe we need some more earlier interaction, who knows. But I still like the look of this deck. I'll keep working on it. And if you guys are interested in how the deck's coming along, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching.